Hey guys, I hope the audio quality is better on this one. I just invested in a new microphone to try to bring you guys better and better content. So please hit the like button. You can always change your mind later. It helps me out big time and helps get my videos to more people who might find it useful. Thanks very much. Fearing rejection is part of the human experience, but fear freezes us and prevents us from discovering the potential of what could be. It limits our opportunities. Whether that rejection is in terms of asking out someone you like, feeling left out in social circles, random people who don't even know you shaming you on the internet because they didn't like something you wrote. Rejection is something that each of us face. From time to time, I work as a dating coach. So this is a common theme I see in my clients. And even if they don't say, Chris, I feel a fear of rejection. Even if they don't say that, it's something that I can see in their voice. I can see it in their body language. I can see it in their behavior, in the way they walk. But why do we feel like this? And how can we get better at dealing with it? Well, human beings are tribal animals. As much as we like to shout and boast about how strong and independent we are, evolution didn't design us to be alone for the long term. Our ancestors existed in tribes for hundreds of thousands of years, tribes which we depended on for our survival. So, by our very DNA, we are very, very sensitive to feeling like we might be pushed out of that tribe. And so, in the primal parts of our brain, we are wired to try our best to prevent that. And so we feel really strong emotions, the same strong emotions that kept our species alive for the entire time that we've been walking the earth. But we don't live in the world which our ancestors live in. We no longer live in tribes of 20 to 40 people. There are billions of us. We are linked by and manipulated by social media. And yet we just went through a pandemic and got used to only talking to people over Zoom calls. The opportunities for connection and to feel rejected are both millions of times greater for humans living now than have ever occurred throughout our history. It was completely natural for so long to look to other human beings to understand our place in the tribe. Our brain's serotonin system, well, our whole nervous system, serotonin system, is built upon social dominance hierarchies. There was a recent study that concluded that the whole basis of SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, being used to treat depression was faulty. In our tribal past, when someone was outside of the tribe, they would be pained in such a way to do everything they could to get back in or to go off on their own and meet their end. And when looking at depressed people, people who feel like they are disconnected from their tribes, it was found that they had low serotonin. And so the treatment put the cart before the horse. It looked at the symptom, low serotonin, and not making them feel like a significant part of a tribe. And I think this is a primary way in which we overcome our fear of rejection, by being part of a tribe in which we're not rejected, in which we are valued and appreciated, and we can contribute to the betterment of that tribe. Social media groups are useful in some ways, but they shouldn't be someone's sole source of tribal identity. It's really important to meet people in real life. So if you feel isolated, find people who enjoy the hobbies you enjoy and try to meet them in real life. Or do what I did and try a new hobby. In 2015, I had become gradually more and more isolated in an emotionally abusive relationship. And when it ended, I was sat at home every evening, feeling depressed, all alone. And my sister dragged me to a dance class just to get me meeting people. And from that, I've gone to travel all over the world, meet amazing people, become a good dancer, respected dance teacher, semi-respected dance teacher, and feel more love and connection than I ever thought possible, just by trying something new and giving myself a chance for a few weeks to see if it could grow on me. So yes, number one is finding a real tribe. Then beyond that is becoming more selective in who you look for validation. Do the opinions of random people on the internet matter to you? Well, if you don't have step one in place, then of course they will. That's your only tribe. Human beings are always looking to others to understand their place in the world. But if you already have a tribe who know you and think you're pretty cool, then how much is some random jackass who laugh reacts at your comment going to bother you? Not much or not at all. And this leads me to step two of how to get over your fear of rejection: self-validation. In the words of the singer Heather Small, what have you done today to make you feel proud? Self-validation is very different than staring into a mirror and trying to convince yourself that you're somehow deep down something different than what you really feel. It's about building a life that you're proud of. Do you have a story of progress from not much to something great? What challenges have you overcome? What improvements have you made? How have you helped other people? Make a list, and if you're not overjoyed by what you write, make a list of small, attainable, and realistic goals that you can be proud of, and plan your actions to get there. Because satisfaction in life is rarely by conquering the big goals, but rather by enjoying the journey of conquering many small goals and being proud of yourself in the process. And now, step three, face rejection. Put yourself into situations in which you will face rejection. For me, this was overcoming my fear of striking up conversations with women who I wanted to get to know. When I actually started doing this, I found that when you do it in a kind and calibrated way, the results for both you and her are almost always positive. And this was my primary way of getting accustomed to rejection. Because if one girl was mean to me because she made some assumption about me without really knowing me, well, minutes later, I would be talking to someone who was 10 times as warm and kind and beautiful, who I could have a really good conversation with and maybe even date. So now that I've had rejection lots and lots of times, the majority of times I try, even if, it may not be rude, but it may just be, sorry, I'm busy, sorry, I've got a boyfriend, I'm not interested, whatever. That's cool. But I've had so many positive reactions and wonderful connections that came from that the rejections don't bother me. Everyone will have their weakest area of life where they feel a fear of rejection, and it may be something completely different than mine. But once you get to a good place in steps one and two, I would encourage you to try and face it. Go out, face rejection. Because once your brain gets used to the fact that nothing bad happens by putting yourself out there in a kind and confident way, then I guarantee you that you'll be over your fear of rejection. And then you can go on to face ever greater challenges in life and just see how much awesomeness you are capable of. Thank you very much for listening.